Hello, everyone. Professor Philip Travis here, and I don't have my green screen this week for images. I'm out of town at the moment, just for a day. So I wanted to make this announcement for our upcoming week, week 3, here in War and Society. This week we're going to be looking at the First World War, and we have 2 items we're going to be reading from. We are going to be starting our Democracy's Prisoner book. Everybody should have that now. And of course, if you haven't purchased it, I'm pretty sure that there is an online electronic version of the book offered through our library. So make sure you have access to the Freeburg book, Democracy's Prisoner, because we're going to be reading that this week and then next week. And of course, when we get to our first exam, the essay portion of that exam is based on primarily on that book. Not entirely. It's also based on some of the things we've also been reading, but it is based on the book. So we're going to need to be getting that, and we're going to begin reading that this week. We have another reading this week on World War I by George C. Herring. And that'll be available in PDF in modules. What we're going to be doing this week, we need to identify the thesis of Democracy's Prisoner, and then we'll be getting into the book even more so next week. And then the Herring reading will provide some sort of more broader overview of the First World War as it relates to the United States. So we're thinking about the First World War, but we're thinking about it as it relates to American society. I have a lecture for you, as always. There will be a video lecture for you in modules, and on the First World War, of course. And this will be a really nice kind of guide and overview to the stuff you'll read in Herring, and also to an extent in Democracy's Prisoner, though Democracy's Prisoner is a very, very close look at issues of civil liberties and free speech during the First World War, and particularly the imprisonment of Eugene V. Debs, a socialist who was outspoken against U.S. involvement in the First World War, and who was imprisoned under the Espionage and Sedition Acts at that time. And so we're going to be thinking about how World War I affects American society, and how World War I really shaped a redefinition of liberties like free speech. There's going to be some other primary sources we're going to look at over the next 2 weeks. And one of these primary sources actually relates to the internment of German nationals. And this will be the factoid for this week. And don't forget, to get your bonus points added towards a test score at the end of the term, all you have to do is watch these announcements, and you'll see a little discussion board in the modules that says post the factoid here. You're just summarizing the historical fact that I state in these announcements, and you just post that in modules, and you earn a bonus point towards a test score at the end of the term. So the factoid for this week is this. During World War I was not a terribly popular war, unlike World War II, where we remember World War II with ticker tape parades and sort of overwhelming support and involvement of American society in the war effort. World War I was not really that way. World War I was rather controversial in the United States, and as a result of this, the United States government under Woodrow Wilson took a number of measures to promote the war effort at home. This included censorship. It included propaganda films, propaganda speeches. It involved, in some cases, opening mail from senders that may be affiliated with the German war effort. Of course, the United States became aligned with the British and the French, particularly, in the war against the Central Powers, which was particularly Germany and Austria, as well as the Ottoman Empire. But the heart of it, Germany really, and Austria. Um, the United States too, and this is kind of the thrust of the factoid. During the First World War, the United States even went so far as to intern German nationals, meaning that there were some 6,000 German nationals. And to be a German national, what that means is that they're a German immigrant who live in the United States, but they're not citizens of the United States. They're still technically citizens of Germany, but they're living, working, farming in the United States. They're not. You're not really expected to go back. They're immigrants who have not become citizens yet. So they're technically German nationals living in the United States. And though we know during World War II, most of us are probably aware of the internment of Japanese Americans during World War II. Far fewer Americans know that there was an internment program during World War I, and it particularly targeted German nationals and also communists, particularly after the Bolshevik Revolution in Russia in 1917. And so the factoid is that during World War I, the United States government actually imprisoned and interned, without charge or trial, some 6,000 German nationals. And that will be one of the primary sources in the coming 2 weeks. We're going to be looking at World War I for 2 weeks that we will be examining. So that's the factoid for the week. Put that in the discussion forum, the extra credit discussion forum, and let's have a great week. I believe we'll have a discussion forum this week, so make sure you start participating in that discussion forum no later than Thursday, and make sure for the factoid that you're posting the factoid from these announcements no later than the end of the day on Wednesday. And let's have a great week.